Hello, it's Rom. I'll explain the run I posted, the solo Withered run. Quickly before I start, three things. First things first, I feel like I have to put this out there. You should not be trying to get this race solo. AAC is meant to be played with others. Only reason I'm doing it is because I'm chopped. I wanted to show that it's possible. And
I wasn't taught how to get a job.
secondly, RNG can be brutal. You will definitely do more than one run. You'll fail many runs and you'll scrap many more runs if you're attempting to solo. You will have to reset a lot. Lastly, thank you everyone for the like, subs, and support. Much thanks. With that being said, let's get started. In the run, I'm using Human, Max Prestige Warrior. These are my boons. Fortitude, Test Subject, Bulk Up, Alert. You can mix and match many different boons, but I don't want to go too depth into it because I feel like the roadmap is much more important. So let's talk about the roadmap and the condition you want to set yourself up in before the fight with the Master. In simple terms, Rampager, Crude Club, Mines, health pots, and more health pots. Let's break down the first part of the roadmap, the Rampager and setup. This setup starts at Forest 1-8 and continues through 4-8. The game plan is simple. Get Rampager, dump every stat point into strength, and most importantly, get 2 healing potions before 4-8. Everything we're doing during these early encounters is setting up for the Goblin Chief fight. By 4-8, your Rampager should be level 4, unlocking Cleave. Combined with 2 healing potions, that's all you need to beat the Goblin Chief consistently. Now, let's talk about getting those 2 healing potions. The first method is the well-prepared boon. You can run this setup with Dwarf, which gives you similar result, just less damage overall. It's not guaranteed, but it still definitely works. The second method is simply getting lucky while scavenging. Finding 2 healing potions naturally is rare, but it can still happen. The third method is the busted caravan strength check. If successful, you'll receive 50 gold, which can then be used to buy 2 healing potions if you encounter the shop in the next encounter. And lastly, the method used in this run. Potion Seller to Mystic River encounter. Whether you get Potion Seller into Mystic River or the other way around, both put you in a position to secure 2 healing potions you'll need. However you get them, the goal remains the same. Reach 4-8 as a level 4 Rampager with 2 healing potions ready for the Goblin Chief fight. On to the next roadmap, the Crude Club. Once you reach 4-8, your goal changes. At this point, you're just looking to exhaust encounters whenever possible without actually fighting them. What we're trying to do is find the Goblin Chief encounter while still having at least one encounter remaining so we can head into the mines afterward. As a Rampager, most fights shouldn't be a problem. Focus into Cleave should clear majority of the enemies with ease. There is one encounter you'll want to just completely avoid, and that's a familiar kobold. The reason for this is it adds another encounter to the event pool once you're in the dungeon, which can lower our chances of finding what we're looking for once we're in there. I paused for a moment to acknowledge something. Unfortunately, RNG can and will be brutal. You may need to attempt this section a couple of times before everything lines up correctly. Some runs will die to bad luck, some runs will die and they need to be reset. And some runs won't simply give you the encounters you're looking for. But once everything falls into place and you finally find the Goblin Chief, you're already halfway through the run. As for the Goblin Chief fight itself here, um, honestly, there isn't much to explain. Use Focus into Cleave first turn. Use Brutal Strike when available. Drink health potions when you're low and block waiting for your abilities to come off cooldown. As long as you manage your health properly, the fight should be fairly straightforward. Once the Goblin Chief is down, we've completed our first 2 objectives of the roadmap, Rampager and Crude Club. Hold on, let's pause for a moment. At this point, you might be asking, why are we doing all this? The short answer is simple, the Crude Club. The long answer, I think it's best if I show you the mirror fight. As you can see, my gear is still incomplete and I have fewer than 6 proper healing items. Yet despite that, I'm still able to beat the boss. And the reason for that is the Crude Club. More specifically, its ability. Flex your intense strength and summon forth an adoring fan. So the ability alone is amazing, but honestly, the weapon itself isn't bad either. And it's not just because I have no friends and the Crude Club gives me one, but compared to other great swords, yes, it only gives 6 constitution, 12 strength, but what's most important here is it doesn't reduce any other stats like dexterity or health. And that I think that matters a lot in a solo run. Sometimes all it takes is one bad initiative roll to put you behind on health, and that's something you really can't afford. Let's get back on the run. So we've completed the Rampager and the Crude Club. Let's talk about the mines and potions, and more potions. If you have any extra encounter left after the Goblin Chief, use them. Heal if you need to. Do what you need to do to succeed into entering the mines. In my run, I found a shop, bought some potions, and headed straight into the mines. Now, I know there are a lot of mixed opinions, mixed feelings about taking the mine route, and it's like definitely debatable. It's not like a you need to go into the mines kind of thing. In fact, you could probably convince me that skipping the mines is better, but I feel like the mines does offer like a good amount of value. Here are my reasons for entering the mines. The first reason, the mines provide these charms, equipment upgrades, experience, and gold. Um, Secondly, exiting the mines puts you at 412 in the dungeon. At first glance, that might sound really bad, meaning less encounters, but it actually just I I prefer to see it as like you get less unprepared combat. And what do I mean by that? Like specifically slimes and ghosts. Both of these enemies are so annoying for this build, or like any physical build in general. Slimes have a physical damage resistance of like 10, while ghosts have like 30, which is even more. As a result, neither can be reliably one-shotted by focus into cleave. So if you run into multiple slimes or ghosts back to back, all it takes is like one bad initiative roll, and suddenly you're forced to spend resources or you're resting. And resting means like, you're not exhausting a encounter. And like, who's to say you won't encounter a slime and a ghost after you rest, putting you further into like this spiral of resting? You know what I mean? And like, I swear there's this one hidden mechanic where you never see mirror before 612, or if you enter the mines, I think it's 912. I'm not sure. I might be losing it. I might be going crazy, but I swear there's some sort of hidden mechanics where you can't encounter the Dark Mirror event until past 6. I might be tripping. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. The general game plan for the mines is much more flexible than the forest. Unlike the forest, you're no longer restricted by encounter routing or trying to force a specific outcome. At this point, your goal is pretty simple. It's just simply gear up and get more health potions. That's literally it. All right, the mech in the mines. I think let's use this opportunity just to talk about combat in general and how you should approach boss fights. First rule simple: if there's a minion, take it out. If cleave can one shot, focus into cleave. If it can't, just strike into a brutal strike. Just remove him off the field. Second rule: just understand that bosses will always have more HP than you, and you can't just HP trade with them and expect to win. So instead, you're looking to gain tempo. As a rampager, you have a move called Overpowering Slash, which stuns your opponent. Basically, what you're looking to do is reach 4 energy, then Overpowering Slash, follow it up with a Brutal Strike. It'll usually do a lot of damage, and it'll also give you tempo. So, and if the boss isn't dead after that, just block, wait for your cooldown on Overpowering Slash, and just repeat that process. The only exception is when the boss has less HP than you. At that point, you can usually just afford to trade HP and finish the fight. And if you're wondering why blocking actually works, it's because warriors have a ridiculous amount of damage reduction, block damage reduction, and that natural bulk just allows you to just absorb so many hits. Warrior is a busted class. Nerf warrior. Alright, we're in the dungeon. At this point, the game plan is even more simple. You're looking for shops, but most importantly, you're looking to exhaust encounters. For example, you'll see in my first encounter that I just ran away from this ghost. I'm exhausting this encounter, or in long terms, I'm removing it from the event pool, meaning you won't see it again for the rest of the run. And that's exactly what we want. The smaller the encounter pool, the better odds of finding the encounters we're actually looking for. More shops, and more importantly, the mirror encounter. Let's quickly talk stats real quick. Throughout the Force and Mines, you should be putting every stat point into strength. Once in the dungeon, however, that's when you start investing into con. The stat line we're aiming for is 100 strength. I'd say around like 60 con. That'll give you enough damage needed to burst down bosses while having the bulk to survive a little longer. And one more thing, armor. I feel like you don't need a full set of Dragonite armor. You can always mix with Pyrite gear or bone plated gear. Don't feel like your run is over just because you didn't get the perfect gear. Remember, the goal isn't perfect gear. The goal is just having enough gear, enough stats, and enough potions to win the fight. Okay, let me pause for a moment. I want to make something clear right here. This was a bad play, or more accurately, a greedy play. The correct decision or the correct choice just would have been to take the lone zealot encounter, exhaust it from the pool, heal up, and walk away with an extra potion. That was the safer, that was the smarter play, okay? That's the play you should be doing. But unfortunately, I was being a fat greedy pig, so I wanted to gamble for more value. I wanted one singular Dragonite chip in order for me to make a Dragonite chest plate. Now, if you want your chances of success to be maximized, I would not recommend copying my decision that I made right here. Do not ever scavenge.
Next time we get a mirror encounter, everything's perfect. Oh, they're so cheap. They're so cheap, bro. Okay. Please, this is mirror encounter. Please. I need mirror encounter. Please. I need mirror encounter, bro. Please. This is the run. I just need a mirror encounter. Please. Oh my god, I can't believe 1 HP. Come on, mirror encounter right now. Please, mirror encounter, please. If I get a mirror encounter, I'm gonna tweet, bro. Mirror encounter, please. No! Are you serious, bro? Oh, what is this? What is this, bro? This is a mirror encounter. Oh my god, the run was perfect. Bro, that's so disappointing. Whatever. I was doing a regular video. What's he gonna do? Okay. I think he's gonna stun me, right? Okay, can be stunned. Is he actually not summoning? Wait. Okay, I guess that's GG's. No, bro, like mirror encounter, man. Like, oh my god, it's so annoying. It's like my third one.
Even with my scavenging mistake, I ended up getting lucky and finding the unblinking eye shop encounter. This is exactly what you're looking for. Potions, potions, and more potions. My recommendation here is simple. Just sell everything you don't need, craft every consumable you can, and buy potions. Buy as many as you can. At this point in the run, potions are worth more than anything else. The more healing you have going into the mirror fight, the more mistakes you're allowed to make. Potions will make up for your lack of stats, gear, RNG, and tempo. I skipped ahead, but with some luck and RNG, I did manage to get into the Dark Mirror encounter. Finally, let's talk about the Mirror Master fight. I'm not going to break down every single turn of the fight, but I'll tell you this. If you have enough healing potions, you can win. Even if you make mistakes, even if the RNG causes you to miss an overpowering slash, and even if the fight doesn't go perfectly, you can win simply by trading HP. That's why I've spent the entire run talking about potions, potions, and potions. If you've stocked up on enough healing potions, it becomes incredibly difficult to lose this fight. As for tips, I recommend using your minor healing potions first. Use them to stall for cooldowns. And here's another important tip. Don't summon your Adoring Fan immediately. Wait after Flux. Doing so will guarantee that the Adoring Fan absorbs at least one attack, giving you extra tempo and often saving you a healing potion in the progress. In this fight, your Adoring Fan is basically everything at once. A health potion, a source of damage, a tank, all wrapped into one single ability. One final tip before we finish. Whenever possible, consume a Drake Shish Kebab, Berserk, or another damage consumable before using Overpowering Slash. The more damage you can squeeze in to your burst window, the faster you can end the fight. And the faster you can end the fight, the fewer chance, RNG has to ruin your day. And that's pretty much it. Get Rampager, Crude Club, gear up into the mines, and buy potions whenever you can get your hands on it. And if RNG decides to be nice to you for once, you'll beat this fight easy. Once the fight is over, take the deal, let the master take a piece of you. Your healing will be cut in half. That's fine. At this point, the hard part I think is already behind you. For the next few encounters, focus on just resting whenever possible, just to get your HP back up to full. As for the bone break fight itself, hopefully you haven't burned through every single potion during the mirror fight. But honestly, you don't need much. I'd say like 1 or 2 healing potions should be enough. Just follow the same combat principles, or the little how to fight guide. Clear minions, gain tempo, block till Overpowering Slash, and repeat the process, and heal whenever once the dragon has less than your HP or than your damage, just kill it. By here with Fortitude and Test Subject, and the warrior class, the Bone Drake fight should be it should be no problem. It's basically over. Yeah.